Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the exact engineering math behind safely sizing solar arrays for a 48-volt, 100-amp-hour battery system. Whether you're outfitting an off-grid cabin or just setting up a solid home backup power bank, figuring out how to fuel it correctly can kind of feel like a guessing game. So let's unpack the actual math together and figure out how to do this safely and efficiently. So how many solar panels do you really need? If you're building an off-grid setup, I guarantee this is the very first thing you're asking. It seems perfectly logical, right? But digging into the numbers reveals why asking how many is actually the completely wrong place to start. Focusing purely on a raw panel count almost always leads to dangerously oversizing or undersizing your charging system. Here's the twist. The physical number of panels you bolt onto your roof doesn't actually determine your charging speed. Total solar wattage does. Think about it. 3 massive 400-watt panels will easily outperform 6 smaller 100-watt panels, even though you technically have half the panel count. Our focus has to fundamentally shift to total wattage. To get this right, we're going to build our system logically. We'll quickly calculate battery energy, look at solar power and current, estimate our charging times, factor in those real-world system losses, and wrap up with essential safety and wiring rules. All right, step 1. Calculating battery energy. Before we even think about charging, we have to know exactly how big our energy bucket actually is. And the math here? Super straightforward. First, you just identify your system voltage, which is 48 volts. Next, grab your battery's capacity, 100 amp hours. Finally, simply multiply those two numbers together to find our total watt hours. Running that math, 48 volts times 100 amp hours gives us 4,800 watt hours. To put that into perspective, your battery stores a massive 4.8 kilowatt hours of total energy. That right there is the exact size of the energy bucket we need to fill up using the sun. Okay, moving right along to part 2, solar power and current. Now we get to the core mathematical formula driving off-grid power. Charging current equals your total solar power divided by your charging voltage. This simple little equation perfectly illustrates why 48-volt systems are so highly favored. As your voltage goes up to 48, your resulting current automatically drops for that exact same amount of solar power. Lower current means thinner, cheaper cables and a much safer system overall. Let's plug some numbers into this formula so you can hear how it scales. A 600-watt array divided by 48 volts yields about 12.5 amps of charging current. Double the solar to 1200 watts, and bam, you get 25 amps. Double it again to an impressive 2400 watts, and you're pushing roughly 50 amps. As the math shows, scaling your wattage directly and predictably cranks up your charging amps. Which perfectly sets up part 3, estimating charging time. We know our current now, but how fast can we actually fill up that 4.8 kilowatt-hour bucket? Well, under absolutely perfect laboratory-style conditions, ideal charging time equals your battery's amp-hour capacity divided by the charging current. Just a straight-up division problem to give us our theoretical charging hours. When you run those numbers, the time savings are absolutely huge. For our 100 amp-hour battery, that 600-watt array pumping 12.5 amps is going to take a full 8 hours to reach a charge. It's basically an all-day affair. But step up to the 1200-watt array, and that gets slashed exactly in half to 4 hours. Push it all the way to 2400 watts, you drop that all-day chore down to a blistering 2 hours. Adding wattage literally buys you time. But let's get back to reality for part 4, real-world system losses. Because out in the real world, physics always takes a cut. Your setup is constantly fighting the environment. For instance, high panel temperatures actually drag down power production. Then you've got inherent wiring losses, minor conversion inefficiencies in your MPPT charge controller, dust accumulation, and unpredictable cloud cover. The takeaway? Your actual charging times are always going to stretch longer than the ideal math. Experienced installers know this, which is why they always build in a generous margin of error. Finally, we absolutely have to talk about part 5, essential safety and wiring. Here is a massive pitfall that catches so many beginners off guard. It's called cold weather volts, or open circuit voltage. You might think hot, sunny days are a solar panel's best friend, but a panel's voltage actually spikes when the outside temperature drops, meaning an array wired in series that works perfectly fine in the summer heat can experience a massive voltage surge on a frosty morning, instantly overloading and frying your charge controller. You have to verify those cold weather limits before you build. Another critical risk factor? Physical wiring. Look,
When you're pushing up to 50 amps of charging current, undersized cables aren't just a nuisance that ruins your efficiency, they are incredibly dangerous. Forcing that much power through a wire that's too thin creates intense heat buildup, and that rapidly turns into a major fire hazard. Every single conductor must be sized for your maximum expected current. To safely manage all this raw energy, overcurrent protection is your ultimate failsafe. You've got to use those properly sized conductors alongside appropriate fuses, DC-rated breakers, and battery disconnects. And here's a pro tip. Place these as close to the physical battery as practical. It drastically reduces the risk of a catastrophic failure during a fault, or even just when you're doing routine maintenance. So, after crunching all those numbers, I'll leave you with this to chew on. Based on the actual math, does your plan's solar wattage truly meet your daily charging goals? If you're totally fine with an 8-hour trickle charge, a smaller setup is perfect. But if you need that battery topped up fast, you need serious total wattage, not just an arbitrary pile of panels on your roof. Take a hard look at your off-grid blueprints, run the real-world math, and build it safe. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.